Boolean expressions and relational operators. Boolean expression is used to test if the statement is true or false. For example, we want to compare two numbers, A and B, two numbers, and I want to see which one's bigger. So we use a greater than. This is called a relational operators, greater than, to compare. If A is greater than B, then we do something, otherwise we do something else. So this is the operator called a relational operator used to compare two values, and it returns true false. If A is greater than B, then it returns true. If A is not greater than B, then return false. So true false is the result of the comparison. We call this as a Boolean expression. This is the greater than or equal. This is less than or equal. So there are two operators involved, greater than and equal sign here. So it means if one number is greater than the other number, or one number is the same as the other number, then the whole thing is true. And this is the reverse. Less than or equal. Double equal means equal. Determines whether the two values or two operands are equal on both on the left side and the right side. So here's a table to give you an example about this here. So for example, we compare two numbers here, x and y. X greater than y. If x is greater than y, then the result is true, Boolean value. If it's less than y, then it's true. So you can always interpret the statement as a question here, saying is x greater than y? Is x less than y? Is x greater than or equal to y? Is x less than or equal to y? Is x equal to y? Notice that there are two equal signs here. There's no space. They must be together, no space. And it's like x not equal. This is a negation, not equal to y. So you always can interpret the statement to something like this. And these are the relational operators that we use to do comparison. And these operators are the same in every computer language. So if you understand those concepts here, we come to another computer language, they're the same, exactly the same, because all of these are from C language, and C was from Pascal or COBOL before, like many years ago. So these are the relational operators. Some people also call them as comparison operator. All these operators are used to do comparison, and this operator, after you do the comparison, the statement must return one single value, either true or false. It must return one single value, true or false. That's the result of relational operator. That's the result of comparison with relational operator. For example, let's do some practice here. So I have a program here. This is my empty file. I'm gonna make some comparison. So here I say 5 is greater than 2. For sure, it is true. It is true, but we want to see the result, because this is the statement. That's comparison. 5 is greater than 2. And what's the result? It must return either true or false. It must return one single value, because this is called a Boolean expression. Boolean expression with a relational operator or comparison operator. So we're looking for doesn't matter how long the statement could be. it only returns one single value, true or false. We want to test it here. So what I do is I want to print out the result here. Say print. All right. So the print get a result from the comparison or from this Boolean expression. The Boolean expression only holds one value, either true or false. We want to test it here, so I just run it. And now, here's the result. I got a true here, so I'll continue here. So let me make it a little narrow, so that I get more space. Right, so I'll continue here. So I say, what about 5 is greater than 12? It's not true, right? So this must return one single value. We just want to test it here. So I get a false. This is the one from this statement here, right? You can see this is the true from right here, and this is the false from right here, because you know this is the Boolean expression with relational operator or comparison operator. It must return only single value, either true or false. Now we can see it returns false. So here we used greater than. Now let's try less than. So 5 is less than. Change to less than. 5 is less than 2, right? Is it true or false? Test it here. So we just run it. Now I get a false. 5 is less than 2. It's not true. It's false. And same thing here. I'm going to 5 is less. I still say less than. I say 1 is less than 2. How's that? So what is the result? True. So you can see all these comparison or all these Boolean expression returns one single value, either true or false. Either true or false. Now let's look at another expression, greater than equal, greater than or equal. So let's make something like this here. Saying print. So right here I'll say 5 is greater than equal, no space. Notice here there's no space. I must put this 2 together, no space in between. 5 equal to 2. How's that? How's that? So what's the result? Returns true. Returns true. Returns true. So let me copy this one here, put down here as a 5 is greater than. How about 5? Because here 5 is greater than 5, or 5 is equal to 5. Either situation returns true. So I got a true here. Look at that. This is the true from here, and this is the 5. Now let me try again. Now this time I'll say 15. So is it true or false? Test it. Now I change to false. So let's look at the next one here. Less than, that's the same thing. So I don't need to. You can test it yourself. I don't need to. It does the reverse as greater than equal. This is less than equal. And equal means equal. So right here, put it up here. Let's say right here, I say 5 equal. Because we use single equal to do assignment, we use double equal to do comparison. Double equal to do comparison. So is 5 equal to 5? Double equal means equal. So try this. So that's true. Now what if I change this one to 15? It's 5 equal to 15? Test it here. Returns false. Returns false. Now let's look at the next one here. Not equal. This is not equal. So 5 not equal to 5. That's false. And let me just do a 5 not equal to 15. Is that true or false? Test it here. It says that's true. Right, this is not equal. So now all of these, we just demoed all of these here. These are the relational operator or comparison operator used in Boolean expression. And remember that all of these compare expression returns one single value, either true or false. After we understand this, we're ready to use the Boolean expression to in the if statements. So let's look at some more examples here with the if statement. What is the if statement here? We use if statement to set up the logic make a decision. For example, like this here, we normally want to draw the picture here. Let's say we put a condition here using if statement. If the statement returns true, we do something here. If it returns false, we do something else. So this is the kind of flow chart to set up the if statement. We have normally we use a diamond to draw it, saying this is the condition. If the condition returns true with Boolean expression, then we go this direction. If it's false, we go this direction, do something else. And here's the syntax here. In Python, if is a keyword. Then we put a condition here. It must be Boolean expression, means we do comparison. Use one of the relational operators to do comparison, and then return true, false. If true, colon, we write code here. If it's false, we do something else. So this is the if statements. For example, a greater than b. If a is greater than b, we do something. Otherwise, we do something else. And we use all these operators together to set up the if condition. Like for example, like this one here, if sales is greater than 50,000, we do this. Otherwise, do something else. So it's a flow chart. And here's if we want to write it in the code, it's like this: if balance not equal to 0, not equal to, because notice here use the relation operator. Remember, all of these statements must return true, false. So let's do a test here. I'll go back to my code here. So right here I say if. So you notice here when I type if in my editor here, it becomes orange. If becomes orange. And when we set up the if statements in Python or any computer language, you put parentheses here. You don't have to, but I always do that. Use parentheses, and I put the expression inside and colon. So inside the parentheses here, I write my code, write my statement here, saying if 5 is greater than 2. And see, notice here, I go up next to the colon. Here's my insertion point blinking here. So I hit enter. When I hit enter, notice here my insertion point comes to here, and there's some indent. You must keep the indent. This is required. You must keep the indent. If you do a backspace here, then the statement, the code, anything you write here is not related to the if statements. You must keep indent here, means if the condition is true, I do something else. So let me just continue here. Say, just put it here. Right. So if 5 is greater than 2, if this is true, then I'm gonna print out this one here. So let me test it. I see true here. Let me just make some difference here so that you know this is from my statement here. Okay, so you can see that's what I printed out here. Now if I change to 12, what do I see? If I change to 12, what do I see? And I don't see anything here. See, because the condition or the result of the comparison returns false. If it's false, then it just stops here. It stops here, and I wouldn't continue to do this. I'll jump to the program will jump to here, and there's nothing here, so just stopped. Just stopped. That's how we use the keyword if together with the Boolean expression to set up the logic or set up the program flow. And what notice here, I must keep the, like I said, you must keep the indent here. So what you do is you come next to the colon here and hit enter. It gives you the indent automatically. You must keep this indent here. If you don't, watch this. If I get rid of the indent here, so it comes to here. It comes to here. Now let me run the program here again. And then what it says that expect an indented block. I don't have it here, so it's error. It is an error. Now what if I do this? I click OK and say OK. I hit enter space here once. Look at that. When I hit enter, my insertion point here, my print is right here. So let me run it again. What do I get here? It says that expect indent. So you're required to put an indent here. The best way to put an indent is you click next to the colon and then hit enter, and then it keeps the indent for you automatically. And then you just make sure you put the code back there. And that's how you set up the if statements. If true, we do this. If false, we do nothing. Nothing happens. So only if this returns true, we can see the string. If it's not true, we never see the string. That's how we set up the logic here.